everybody, I'm at Ford's Theater, home of the Lincoln Assassination.
President Abraham Lincoln had much to celebrate in April of 1865. The stubborn army of Northern Virginia and Robert E. Lee had finally been forced to surrender at Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia on April the 9th, and Joseph Johnston's Confederate forces in North Carolina didn't seem far behind. With his second presidential term only a month old, his hopes that he could bind up the nation's wounds, as he promised in his second inauguration speech, seemed possible. Yet little did he know that at that same speech, a man with vile and hatred for the president was mere steps away, John Wilkes Booth. On April the 14th, Lincoln and his wife, Mary Todd, made plans to attend the comedy Our American Cousin at Ford's Theater in Washington. Booth, who had plotted with a group of conspirators for months to either kidnap or kill the president, saw his chance. John Wilkes Booth was a popular theater actor whose family had made a career touring and performing plays throughout the United States. Yet he was also an avowed racist who was tormented by the destruction of the Confederacy and the thought of freed slaves becoming his equal. Before the play, Booth gathered his fellow conspirators and told them his intention to kill the president. He asked Lewis Powell to assassinate Secretary of State William Seward and George Atzerodt to do the same to Vice President Andrew Johnson. After the play's intermission at Ford's Theater, Booth snuck into President Lincoln's unguarded balcony box. The president and the First Lady had been accompanied by U.S. Army Major Henry Rathbone and his fiancée, Clara Harris. Booth shot the president with a Derringer pistol in the back of the head and then stabbed Major Rathbone before jumping from the balcony onto the stage. Booth badly injured his leg in the fall, but held up his bloody knife and shouted Sic Semper Tyrannis, Latin for thus always to tyrants. He fled the theater in the ensuing chaos and disappeared into the night. Booth's co-conspirators failed in their assassination attempts. Lewis Powell managed to stab Secretary of State William Seward, but he would survive. George Atzerodt never attempted to assassinate the vice president. Abraham Lincoln, mortally wounded, was carried across the street to the Petersen house, where he died the next morning at 7:22 a.m. Secretary of War Edwin Stanton was the first to speak after his death. Now he belongs to the ages. True words have rarely been spoken. A large manhunt eventually caught up with Booth, and he was shot and mortally wounded by Union soldier Boston Corbett. 8 of Booth's conspirators were caught and put on trial for the crime. All were found guilty, and 4 were sentenced to death, including Lewis Powell and George Atzerodt. Ford's Theater was seized by the federal government and was used as an office building for the rest of the 19th century. In 1893, the interior floors collapsed, killing 22 people. It was repaired, and in 1933 was given to the National Park Service along with the Petersen House. It was restored to its 1865 appearance in 1968, and today is an active theater. Lincoln's presidential box, however, is never occupied, serving as a permanent memorial of that terrible night.
So come to Ford's Theater. It's one of the best places in America.